Hey everybody, this is Sarah Harnish. I'm a Young Living Diamond and I'm not in my house again today. It's because I just finished the marathon of recording the entire Ignite book, and we will be able to upload it to Audible tomorrow. So super, super excited. But you are on the Oil Ability with Sarah Facebook page, and we are right in the middle of Ignite training. So we're actually on the second to last day already, which is crazy. It's just nuts that it's gone so fast. But we have tonight, and then we have one more night. And then I'm going to demo the 101 class and the 102 class for you guys. So a huge shout out to Karen and Ellie. Thank you for popping on, even though we've got so much going on with the 4th of July and the holiday and all of that is just going to be an awesome training anyway. So I know, Shannon, keep it positive. So we're going to be doing chapter 15 tonight, which is the legacy of Gary Young. And I'm really excited to be able to do some training on this with you because to my knowledge, I don't know of any other business books that are out there that are training on a Young Living business and then also training you on Gary side by side. There's a couple of books dedicated specifically to Gary, a beautiful one from Royal Crown Diamond, Gretchen King Ann that I love, and then obviously the book from Mary Young that's just amazing. But so I want to show you what I've been working on today. Are you ready? Because I just recorded the chapter that we are going to be studying tonight. So let me just turn this around and take a listen.
Chapter 15, The Legacy of Gary Young. I've been in Young Living for 4 years, and I've got a team of about 10,000 people. Of those 10,000, 61 have been to conventions since the inception of my business. 61 out of 10,000. I have just one small team in a sea of millions of people using Young Living. I shudder to think of those that never met Gary before he passed, and the millions that have yet to join Young Living that will never know the man that started it all. So many ask me what he was like. In a word, a grandfather. He was loving. He listened deeply. He gave his time. You were the center of the room. Your thoughts had value. I don't feel like I can put a quick guide together for a Young Living business without telling you why you must fight so hard to get oils in every home in the world. It's all because of this man's mission. Without Gary, there would be no mass-scale essential oils production. I think of all that he touched and all that he created, how differently our lives would be without this man's genius. The cleaning power of thieves, the discovery of Ningxia, his work on the frankincense road to bring us single-species pure frankincense. Gary built it all painstakingly over decades of trial and error in different states and on different continents. He was always ahead. He was thinking of CBD years before it became mainstream, and Mary found pages of his notes on CBD after his death. When he began this as a network marketing company, he was thinking of you. He was thinking of how to say thank you to you for sharing oils.
What do you guys think, huh? So I'm not supposed to offer free downloads because it's got to go to Audible, and then they own the rights to it, and then I get in trouble for sharing it. But I don't know, this one might pop up for 24 hours or something so you guys can see it. So let's talk a little bit about Gary Young and who he is and what he did, because maybe you haven't had a chance to actually see him in person. All right, to actually know him, to get to meet him. So forgive me for the disheveled look. I just came off of like another 10 hours of recording today, and it's a lot. Oh my word, sitting here recording and anchoring is a lot of work. So let's just talk a little bit about Gary Young. This is right from the inside of the Ignite book, and I'm excited that a book that you get to hand to your leaders is going to train them on the man that founded the company. Right? It's going to train them, because to have most of my team, I mean, less than 1% of my team has actually met Gary. So to have so little of my team actually know him, I know that it's the same with your guys' teams also. So I thought if we had this in an initial training guide, that it would really make an impact and people would get to know him in a way that they haven't known him, right? So can I just tell you how grateful I am that Gary loved us enough that he did not set Young Living up as a retail storefront. Because what would have happened if he had done that? I still would have fallen in love with Young Living. And I'm just telling you right out of the Ignite book right now, I still would have shared my passion for oils with my family and friends. And I still would have, it still would have broken my heart to see things that were not pure in their cabinets. I still would have spoken out, and my family and friends still would have ordered, because when I recommend a favorite restaurant or a movie, they take my word for it, and then they go and they try it out. And it's not about me selling something to them. It's about recommending lifestyle choices. But if Gary had set this up as a retail storefront instead, then Young Living would have been taking 100% of the profits from my labor. All right. But because Gary loved us so much, he was willing to take it on the chin as a network marketer when the field was still socially looked down upon as an inferior business. He did this just to make sure that we got the reward for our hard work. So because of Gary, I get to enjoy a diamond income, and I get to go to bed at night knowing that my kids are cared for forever, for the span of their lives, right? And that's better than a 401k, and it's better than insurance, life insurance. It's security that gives me peace. And that's what Gary gave us when he structured Young Living in this way. Young Living is Gary's gift to you. It's a gift. Now, Gary passed away in 2018. It's going to be really, really hard to get through another convention without him. And I wish more than anything that you guys could have known him in person, that you could have been, just had a conversation in a hallway with him and really seen the heart of who this man was, because he was a trailblazer and he was an educator, man. If you ever got stuck in his classes, he would teach the entire day. You think you'd be there for an hour or two and you'd be there for 15 hours. He totally threw off all the clocks, all the speaking clocks, right? He was a master aromatherapist, and he made unbelievable blends. He made Valor, he made Panaway, he made Stress Away, right? He learned aromatherapy by sleeping on cold distillery floors in France and just studying under the best. And you can read his entire story in his beautiful wife, Mary Young's book, D. Gary Young, The World Leader of Essential Oils. It's located in your virtual office. And what he did to build this company is just absolutely stunning. Gary was a pioneer. He distilled new oils. Did you know that Dorado Azul and Palo Santo, they didn't exist before Gary Young? He went out, he grabbed the plants, and he created them as essential oils. They were plants, but he actually made them essential oils for the first time. We wouldn't have been able to enjoy those. He hunted pure, untainted land for his farms all across the world. And he meticulously planted his crops in the ground over and over and over and over again until he found the best space and the best method to grow them. And it took over 20 years for him to amass the largest global library of oil constituents. Those are the levels that each oil must have to best be used by the library. Not many people are talking about this, but nobody's got our library. All right, nobody. And no network marketing oils company has been around for 25 years either. It is our library that makes us amazing. I mean, it's all the work that Gary did, planting helichrysum in Croatia, planting helichrysum in, Idaho, planting helichrysum in, in Mona, planting it all over the place just to test it. Say, does it grow well here? Does it grow well here? Does it grow well here? What if we introduce frequency? What if we introduce worm casings? What if we do this in Ecuador? What if we do it here? What if we do it here? I hear all these companies say this grows in its native soil. Well, what if it actually grows better in different soil, right? But you wouldn't know that unless you plant it somewhere else and you try it out. And Gary was like the king of trying things out. Nobody else knows what to check their oils against to even see if they're high quality. Right? They just don't have the library that we have. We've spent 2.5 decades putting it together. He scouted multiple continents to find out why the oldest people on the earth were living so long. And that's what led Gary to the Ningxia Wolfberry, right? He looked at the oldest cultures in the world. You need to go check out his story. If you haven't gotten this book, now there's going to be a surge on it in life science. If you haven't gotten this book, the Ningxia Wolfberry, The Ultimate Superfood by Gary Young, you need to go get that as a summer read and just enjoy that. I've done a lot of the Ningxia class was pulled off of the content in that book. So it's just phenomenal. Gary traveled the frankincense road to bring you the best frankincense on the globe, and he did it before any mass scale oils company was in existence. He was so ahead of his time. Gary was the designer of Seed to Seal. He's the one that created it, right? He was the creator of the distilleries that have set the standard for purity in the oils world. I've talked to Lauren Walker so many times, and she says our standards, they are the gold standard. Like that is, it is amazing. I mean, the U.S. government uses our standards to check people against, because of everything that came down with the Lacey Act and the laws that we drew up and what we hold ourselves to. I was just standing in the Spain farm for the Diamond Retreat, and it was really amazing to see them. Now they're one of our partner farms. And Lauren told me it took him 20 years to become a partner farm. And this is a guy that Gary knew. Like he knew the owner of this small farm personally, and he'd been to this farm several times. And yet it still took somebody that Gary knew 20 years to become a partner farm for Young Living. So I think that's awesome because that's a standard. right? That's the standard that Gary set. That's what seed to seal means. That's what purity means. So, that's what you get when you're getting Young Living. Young Living is doing things that nobody has ever done before. I mean, they were the first company globally to offer 600 oils and oil infused products, right? Including OTC medications. I mean, we're talking about Cool pain cream, and we're talking about Thieves cough drops, right? You can say that it's for cough, and mineral sunscreen. Those are all things that have been approved, right? They're over the counter approved. That's oil infused. Nobody else has done that before. That's huge, right? Gary brought a large-scale selection of oil singles and blends into the modern world. Large scale. There were a lot of families that were doing, an oil that their family was really good at, or a few dozen oils that their family was good at. Nobody was doing 600 like singles, blends, and oil infused products. I mean, Young Living completely revolutionized the essential oils world. And now people pause before they use things that they used for 20 or 30 or 40 years, and they reach for an oil instead. Right? Not just for a few hundred families, but for millions of families now in Costa Rica and in Europe and Mexico and Canada and the Philippines and China, Malaysia, Australia, Singapore, the United States, and so many more countries, over 100 countries, right? Gary didn't just change a few lives. He caused a shift globally in how we view our wellness. He truly is the father of the modern essential oils movement. He truly is, right? This is the stuff that I want my team trained on. Like, I want my team to know who Gary was and what Young Living is and what Seed to Seal is and what it is when they get these things in their hands. But above all of the amazing things that Gary accomplished when he was here, he was humble and he was unabashed about his faith. Like, he stood on stage after stage after stage and he talked about his love for Christ. He talked about his love of God, right? He was not afraid at all to stand there and say, listen, this is what I believe. I respect what you believe. And this is what I believe. This is where I stand. And that spoke more to me than anything else. On top of that, he was the first to rise in the morning on the farms, and he was the very last to go to bed. So, if you were out doing winter harvest, Gary was already out there when you got up. And when you came in, he was the last person that came in. He built a distillery in northern Canada in minus 40-degree weather just so we wouldn't go another year without Valor oil. I mean, and he never complained that he was out there doing it. He told me that he was getting 100 calls a day when Valor oil was out of stock, and he had to be outside and he had to build this distillery because otherwise it would be built after the harvest had to come in. That's what Seed to Seal is, right? It's the work of Gary. Gary was generous. He was a philanthropist that saw children in Ecuador in a small schoolhouse with no bathroom, and he built a $200 million school for them, right? They were walking to school, and some days their teacher would show up and some days the teacher didn't show up. He was the one that was building homes with Young Living brick makers after the earthquake leveled the villages in Nepal because he saw a need and he met it. He didn't think about it. He didn't think about meeting the need. He didn't say he tried to help. He didn't stop until it was done. He didn't stop. Gary was the one that stopped a diamond gala for 2 minutes 2 years ago. He stopped the entire diamond gala for 2 minutes, even though a room full of entrepreneurs doing $250,000 in sales a month were waiting behind the curtain to walk and get their rank up gift. He stopped everything and he got on his knee and he talked to my 10-year-old son. For 2 minutes, he held up the whole gala because to Gary, to every person had purpose. Every person had meaning. A 10-year-old child is just as important to him as a Royal Crown diamond generating income for the company that he built. Because if you were in front of Gary, there was nobody else in the room. And it was not just because you were smitten with him. It was because he was smitten with you, right? He saw dreams in you that you couldn't even see in yourself. Gary was the biggest dreamer that I knew. It was amazing. And it takes dreams like that to build a $2 billion oils empire from some lavender seeds smuggled from Europe in a pair of cowboy boots, right? That was the heart of Gary Young. That was the heart of Gary. And so now you know him as I have known him. Gary is the culture of Young Living. I actually had a person come up to me once. She goes, "Oh, Young Living, you're part of that cult." And I was like, cult? Like, that's a pretty harsh word to say. I go, no, it's not a cult. It's called respect. It's called respect. I go, have you ever met him? Do you know him? Have you had a conversation with him before? Before you just regurgitate all the stuff that you've read about him on the internet, can you tell me that you've stood in front of Gary Young and you actually know his heart? I go, because I have. I have many times. I've traveled with him. My children know his children, And I go, to me, you got to know somebody before you believe everything that you read on the internet. And I can say that I knew this man. and he's awesome, right? And so now you know him the same way that I know him, and it's up to us to make sure that he's remembered. So I'm going to end this chapter with just a couple of my Gary quotes, because it's the only way that I can bring him closer to you is just by listening to his words. You listen to the Ningxia Wolfberry book and you listen to his words and just who he was, and he just, man, his writing cracked me up. He's such a gifted writer, right? This is the man that started it all. So with this business, everything that you have in your hands began in Gary's hands, right? Everything we have now, it started somehow with him. So here's some quotes from him, just a couple of my top favorite ones. Quote, "I've had so many distributors come to me and say, oh, Gary, I just don't know how to use the oils. Open the bottle. Start with that. But there's so much to know. I know I'm still trying to know. And if I'd waited till I knew it all, you wouldn't be sitting here today. And probably by the time that I leave this life, I'll just be figuring out how little I do know." All right. "I don't make a product for a profit. I make it for a purpose. When life knocks you down, roll over and look at the stars. Surround yourself with dream builders, not dream stealers. If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space." This is a picture of Gary with 3 of my kids on a trip that I won to Venice as an executive in 2015. They were 12, 14, and 16. And he spoke with each of them privately about the importance of getting their starter kit and launching their business right when they were 16 years old. He sat there and he coached my kids on this really windy boat deck, even though he was weary, even though he'd boarded the boat late because he'd just come from the Helichrysum farm in Croatia. He still took time and he invested in my kids and he taught them how to fish. And all 3 of them are now running Young Living businesses. That's what happens when you invest in people. All right, that's what happens. So I got a challenge for you to help you carry the torch. I want you to view every single person the way that Gary did. I want you to view them like they're the most important person in the room, right? That every single person has value. If you're having a hard time filling classes, this is your Achilles heel right here, right? It's being like Gary. If you were to run every single class like that, you would have the spirit of Gary inside of you, because you're carrying Gary's mission of bringing oils into every single home in the world, right? If the entire room revolves around the person that's standing in front of you, you've got a totally different business. It's not about sales. It's just about being there for people, right? Just about being there for people. And it won't be hard for you to build a team because the message is always about meeting the need, right? You guys promise me that when you're a Royal Crown Diamond, you're not going to be too big to stop in a hallway with a star and hold their hand and pray with them and love on them, right? Because the message is always about meeting the need, always, right? Hashtag because of Gary. So I'm going to take this chapter that I just recorded about Gary, and I want you guys to share it everywhere. All right. I want you to share it everywhere. Matter of fact, when we put this bootcamp video up on the page, I'm also going to put this one Ignite chapter up underneath it so that you have it to share forever with your teams, because I want your teams so deeply to know the heart of Gary Young. I put it in Ignite so you could use it when you're training your teams, but it means more to me to just have this chapter out there that people understand the heart of Gary and what he did to build this company. Okay. So share the audio, share it with your people, help them learn who this man was and what the heart of our company was, because man, we work for a great company. We work for a company with integrity, right? A company that gives people purpose. And gosh, there's so many great stories out there and so many people that have been on so many more adventures with Gary than I have been. But maybe my little piece of Gary will ignite something in your teams to excite them and realize the company that they work for and what it means, what Seed to Seal means and what it took to build Seed to Seal, right? So tomorrow we're going to take the day off. Obviously if you're doing boot camp and this is recorded and you're watching the non-live version, you don't get tomorrow off. You got to go click on the video tomorrow and do day 15, right? But we're going to meet together again on Friday. We'll do the very last chapter of the book, and that will wrap up Ignite Boot Camp. And then I will not be coming, I'll continue doing roundtables with you guys on Tuesday nights, but I will not be coming back to do another boot camp until October 1st. October 1st, I'm very excited to announce, will be the launch of the Unstuck Boot Camp. And you do not want to miss that boot camp. That's been 2 years of research and work, and I'm very, very excited to bring Unstuck to you guys. I got the proof in my hands, and I'll get to show it to you guys on Friday when we wrap up the very last Ignite training. Then I'm going to do a demo on Roundtable of a 101 class, and what I'm what it looks like when I teach one. And then I'm just going to do some live shots for you the week after that from convention, so you can see what convention looks like. I might sneak you guys into the Diamond Lounge and, show you what a Diamond Lounge looks like. Shh, don't get me in trouble. And then the week after that, I will demo a 102 class for you. So let's end tonight with some giveaways. All right. I get to give away a $500 Game Plan Mega Pack tonight. I'm so sorry if you're not watching this live. I don't have any giveaways for you. But get on Roundtable, and I always do giveaways there, right? So I get to give away a $500 Game Plan Mega Pack. I want somebody to share one of their stories about Gary for that Mega Pack. So for tonight, just share something, even if it's just a few words about Gary. Or something that Gary, what Gary meant to you. And then that's for one person. For 5 of you, I'm also going to give away a signed copy of Ignite. All right, 1 copy of Ignite. So I will read your names off and pick 5 of you for the 1 signed copy of Ignite. So let's start with the Game Plan Mega Pack first. Somebody put a memoir that they have of Gary Young, and let's just have this beautiful tribute to him on this video. It might be a video that you watched of him. It might be some training that he did. It might be a nugget that you got out of one of his books, and that's how you felt close to him. Maybe you're one of the original Young Living people all the way back from the 90s, and you can actually tell a story about Gary. Maybe it's just a quote or some words that just really meant a lot to you. All right. I love this. Michelle, I wish I could have met him. Helen, I didn't know Gary personally, but I love what he did for us. Yeah. I'm waiting for one story. I love his humility and his love of God. Yeah, I won his book and I read it, and he's such an amazing man. I needed a hug. Oh, I love you. You're awesome. I was blessed to be at beauty school when he spoke for the last time in public for 2 hours. Oh, Joanna, what an amazing memory. Peg says, he took the time to talk to me at the Grand Convention before going into the ring. He was on a horse. Oh, Peg, that's a wonderful story. Peggy says, Gary meant love and caring and giving to others. Nancy says, I wish I met Gary. Valerie says, every YouTube video out there about Gary that I've watched is why I joined Young Living. This is good. All right, I'm going to give the Game Plan Mega Pack to Peggy Lossey, or Lucy, however you say that, Lossey. Congratulations. I don't know, Gary being on a horse is just really special and precious to me. Now I'm going to pick 5 people for Ignite books. All right. So for the Ignite giveaways, you guys tell me something you got out of today, or a memoir of Gary. All right. Let's see. Helen says, I cried when I read about his accident and how he overcame. Helen McClendon, your winner number 1. Right. Terry Beck, your winner number 2 for an Ignite book. Lila, I'll see if I say your name right. Safavi Offs, your winner number 3 for Gary and Marion. Get your picture with them at the Dallas Grand Convention in 2015. Very, very good. Very good. Renee Pelkey, I love you. Your winner number 4. Let me pick one more here. Let's see. One more. Love this. The Frankincense video. Appreciate your quotes of him. I love the stories of Gary. All right, one more person. Okay, Jessa Schreiber, your winner number 5. What a brave and committed man Gary was. We saw him in 2017 in the jousting ring during the Lavender Days at Mona Whispering Springs. He did not look well on his horse, but he rode anyway. What a man. He really, truly was just an amazing man. So I'm going to pop up, the oil of the night, lemon. I didn't give it to you guys tonight. Sorry. I have it, but I don't have it sitting right next to me, but I'm doused in it right now. Lemon, because lemon is really good for raising your spirits. All right. We might read the chapter and be like, oh, Gary's gone, but that's not it. Gary loved people. Like, the message of Gary Young was love, right? It was meeting people where they are and loving them no matter what their background was, who they were, what their credentials were. He didn't care, right? He just loved people. It's kind of like the central message of the Bible, from beginning to end, from Genesis to Revelation, it's about love, right? The common theme all the way through is about love. And so lemon is an oil that just, it gets into that limbic lobe, and it is just, it's just a good reset for your emotions. When you're down in the dumps and you're frustrated and you feel like you got nothing left and you want to give up, it's my, I'm not going to quit oil, right? I just get it going and I just, breathe it in. I love it in the diffuser. And I'm like, okay, I got to remember why I did this. I got to remember why I'm here, because the message is always about meeting the need. Right? That's the message from chapter 15. So as soon as I wrap up this video, refresh your screen in about 90 seconds or so, and I'm going to leave you guys Ignite chapter 15 on audio so you can listen to it and share it with your teams. I love you guys. We'll take tomorrow off. And then I'll see you on Friday for the very last night of Ignite Boot Camp.